Interviews with business owners and veteran executives who share their wisdom and expertise to help you de-stress, free up time, and make more money. Profits of IT. Welcome back to the Profits of IT. I am Jim Punzenberger, your host and the creator of the Managed Prospecting System. If you're looking to generate leads and appointments without cold calling, ad spend, or spamming, be sure to check out managedprospectingsystem.com. I have Ken with me today. Ken, why don't you please introduce yourself and tell us a quick bit about your company?
Okay, sure, thanks. I'm Ken Dwight. I'm in Houston, Texas, and been in the IT business forever. In fact, there were no personal computers when I started as a programmer trainee in 1966. It was all mainframes back then.
Yeah, that is a long time.
Yeah, been a lot of changes since then. I've got a lot of scars. But to put it in perspective, the IBM announced their personal computer in 1981. So at that point, I had been in the computer business for 15 years. So I've seen all of the PC industry and the Windows and the networking and all the stuff. And that back in the early days when it was mainframes, I was on the user side of the fence because the big companies were the only ones that had computers. But when the PC came out, I saw what was going on, thought, well, this is probably going to be a good business model. So I jumped into that and started doing the traditional break fix type stuff and building computers and supporting them. And it's just one thing led to another. And of course, ever since then, it's been my business has been pretty much all PC based. I do some consulting occasionally for the big companies and some mainframe related stuff, but more high level, what should we do and why and how and that sort of thing.
But you're still supporting PCs 40 years later.
I am. Yeah, in fact, I actually started my consulting practice back in 1972. And so most of that has been small businesses. And there again, I've worked with, whoever came along, like anybody that hangs out their shingle for the first time, take what comes along. And initially it was some contract programming for the mainframe shops. And then in the PC arena, there too, when Windows came out, I got onto that early, and the graphical user interface and the mouse and the point and click and drop and drag and things that never existed before then. So it's been an interesting ride.
I bet it sure has been. So what's something interesting about yourself outside of work?
Well, as you know, my passion is aviation. I've been a pilot since 1970. And so I still fly every chance I get, including an annual trip to your part of the country up in Wisconsin. So
yes, Wisconsin is popular in the summertime. Well, I guess it's popular for 1 week in the summer. Well, the EAA Air Venture is going on. So
yep, the last week of July, you can pretty much count on seeing me there for the last 50 years. So that's when I see all my friends from all over the world, 600 and some thousand of them for a week.
You and 600,000 of your closest friends.
Yeah.
Cool.
Even people from here in Houston that I only see at Oshkosh. I don't even see them around here, but we're all at Oshkosh.
Yeah, I believe it. So Ken, what do you say is your superpower when it comes to business, or what do you contribute your success to? And how can others learn from that and apply that in their own lives to be more successful?
Well, I appreciate the question. It's a great question. And frankly, I approach it the way that another well-known author did a long time ago. You're probably familiar with Napoleon Hill.
Yes.
Who wrote Think and Grow Rich, one of the all-time classics.
Right.
And if you are not familiar with that background, what he did was went out and interviewed a lot of the most successful business people of the day, Andrew Carnegie and Mellon and I forget all the names, but
similar to what I'm doing now in my podcast.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really a lot of what I bring to to the industry. As you know, I do training. I teach other techs how to do what I do. I have a workshop called Malware Incident Response Training. And one of the things I emphasize in that is that it's not possible for any of us to know everything about every aspect of not only the IT industry, but even the security part of IT. And so having relationships and talking to other people that have specializations in different parts of that, and having a place where they can not necessarily come together, but at least have a forum where we can exchange ideas. One of the things that the graduates of my training get is a monthly webinar where I feature a featured topic every month that's related to generally security and malware and that type of thing. But some of the things are not necessarily that specific. Some things about running a business successfully, an MSP business or an IT support business, about marketing, about just being more successful overall. And one of the things that I wish I had learned a long time ago was the importance of not being a one-person business, which is what I've been since I started my business in '72. And in recent years, I realized how much farther I could have gone if I had other people in the business with me, not just with different expertise, but people to bounce ideas off of and to brainstorm with. And so another one of those concepts that I've implemented in more recent years is masterminding, having regular conversations with other people that don't necessarily do exactly what I do, but they and I have different skill sets, and we can learn from each other as a result of not knowing each other's specialty that well. So I guess if there's one piece of advice I'd give for any business person, any entrepreneur to be more successful, is have somebody else in your business that you communicate with on a regular basis, and do exactly that. Share ideas, brainstorm, and have a reality check for what you think is a bright idea. All of my bright ideas haven't turned out to be as successful as I thought they could.
Some bright ideas really aren't bright once they get implemented.
Yeah. And it's like so many other things, having the idea is only the first part of it, and then implementation is where it sometimes bogs down or doesn't get off the ground at all. And there again, if you have somebody else in the business to remind you or encourage you or hold you accountable, that can go a long way.
So have other people in the business that you can talk to and kind of bounce your ideas off of, and also to help you with accountability. And so what else is important to know?
Well, along with that, really, it leads right into the importance of staying current, staying educated. And unfortunately, there's some characteristics that those of us in the IT, tech, geek, nerd world, they're obviously stereotypes that unfortunately are fairly accurate, at least in general terms. Most of us tend to be loners, and a lot of us don't like to ask questions or admit there's something we don't know. And when I'm talking to somebody about taking my workshop, if I get any of those indications, well, I already know everything, or I can Google all that, I don't need a class. That's somebody I'm not interested in, not only not interested in working with, but I wish they'd get out of the business because they give the rest of us a bad name. Unfortunately, there are too many techs out there that haven't learned anything new in the last 10 years or 20. And have you noticed there've been a few changes in that time? So
yes, like there's been changes basically since yesterday.
Yeah. Well, and one indication of that is that anybody that takes my workshop has the option to come back a year later, pay for it again. They get a discount on coming back. But if they come back at least a year later and take it again, they get a next level of certification. And I have graduates that, in fact, one has come back 8 times now, and another 7 times, and a lot of them 4, 5, 6 times. So the point is they recognize not only how much things change, but how much they either didn't pick up previous time or didn't apply to them at the time. And just the fact they keep coming back and spending the money and devoting the time to it tells me a lot about their mindset and their interest in staying current and doing the best job possible for their customers. So that's the kind of people I love to work with.
Uh-huh. So really it's the keys that I'm hearing are have others in your business that you can uh, communicate with and bounce ideas off of, keep you motivated, and also accountability. And then education is important, especially in the tech field, that you're successful. One of the things that it sounds like one of the things that have made you successful is continuing to learn, really being it seems like you're a constant student. If you've gone from the days that the computer was the whole floor of the office building to now when the computer is in your hand on your phone, and there's been a lot of changes. So
Yeah,
you've been studying, you just continue to study every day, it
you
sounds like.
bet. In fact, one of the most common questions I get, not just from the people that are taking my workshop, but my break fix clients, is how can you possibly stay current? And my answer used to be I had to read 3 hours a day to stay current. Now it's more like 5 hours a day. And so the people that haven't been to a trade show or picked up a magazine or read a blog post in years, it pains me to know that those people are out there calling themselves IT support people and giving us all a bad name.
Yeah.
So one of the things too that even I talked initially about the solopreneurs or the one-person shops like I've been, but even MSPs that have multiple techs and salespeople and administrators and that sort of thing. There are ways that you can get a lot of the benefits of different perspectives by peer groups. Peer groups are a very powerful tool. It's one that I have not been able to justify just because of the time and the dollar commitments. But my larger MSP clients are really, they've gotten a lot of benefit from their peer groups. And some of them are, well, they range all over the map in terms of cost and commitment.
Right.
But it can be a pretty significant commitment in terms of dollars, travels, that sort of thing. But so much useful feedback from people that are doing the same thing that we are. And in the peer groups, they're all, most of the defenses are down. They don't see each other as competitors, but people that they can learn from and share information with. And so that, along with going to the conferences, the trade shows, a chance to network one-on-one and talk to vendors too. There's a lot you can learn from vendors. They're not just, well, they are trying to sell you something, but a lot of what I do, the value that my graduates get from me is my knowing who does have a useful product or service or something that they could either benefit from using themselves or reselling to their clients or recommending to their clients. So there's so much information out there and knowledge that no one person can ever be expected to have, even as of today. If you do everything today, tomorrow there'd be hundreds of thousands of new data points that
Yep.
you have to start over again.
Got it. So Ken, who should be doing business with you and why should they do business with you?
Well, the business that I try to spend the most of my time and effort in is the training business. And it's not an end user training. I do some end user training, but what I really focus on these days, and have been for over 10 years now, is my malware incident response training. And that's down and dirty in the trenches, how to do it stuff. It's not theoretical pie in the sky, nice to know, it's need to know. And so anybody that is doing IT support can benefit from that workshop. I have some people that have taken it that are in in-house IT departments, and it serves a useful purpose for them as well, but that tends to be a different mindset. The in-house IT department people are more, I won't say they're like government workers, but they have their job security and their paychecks and their vacations and that sort of thing. And if they don't solve a problem or something slips past them, it's not a big deal. Their paycheck comes anyway. But if you're a small break fix shop, you've got to prove your value every day to the client.
Right.
And if you don't solve a problem for them, they'll move on to the next and probably tell their friends about the lousy support they got from you. And unfortunately, a lot of those situations, especially these days with ransomware, end up in court. And that's something that you and I don't want to be on the other side of.
Definitely. And if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, Ken, how would what would be the best way to get a hold of you?
Best way is to start with my website, thevirusdoc.com. And there's a contact form on there that they can use, or my email address is kdwight@thevirusdoc.com.
Great, Ken. Well, thank you for your time here today and sharing your insight and your inspirations.
Thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate
wonderful.
what you do.
It's been wonderful having you on.
Thanks, Jim.
And until next time on the Prophets of IT, I am Jim Punzenberger, your host and the creator of the Managed Prospecting System. If you're looking to generate leads and or appointments without cold calling, ad spend, or spamming, look at managedprospectingsystem.com.
Thank you for tuning in to the Prophets of IT. Please smash that like button, subscribe, and share.